Good morning, beautiful people. I want to apologize for yesterday's video. It was just all over the place because it's kind of like representing the way my mind has been lately. Everything is going crazy. It's like boom, 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 boom. And I'm being assaulted by this stuff everywhere. It does look like the New Mexico governor is going to have her little behind handed back to her. They put a temporary restraining order on her implementation of the removal of the rights of her citizens in the county where Albuquerque is. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a B. I don't know. If I did remember what it was, I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce it like it's supposed to be. So anyway, that's good. I think people have had just about enough of this garbage. They seriously have had enough. And did you see Oprah? Oh my God. That woman is a prime example and proof that there's no such thing as systemic racism. Because she's a billionaire. She climbed her way to the top. She accomplished a lot of stuff. I don't agree with her on anything. I've thought she was a horrible person for decades already. Because she's just such a new age globalist, whatever. So I never have liked her. I remember many years when her show first came on. I did watch a few of those shows. That was, where she first started the shows, and it got sickening the way women were fawning all over her. Okay, she accomplished a lot. She climbed the ladder. She made something of herself. She became an icon. She became a multi-billionaire. She's worth about $3.5 billion, I think. She could completely rebuild the entire town of Lahaina by herself and barely make a dent in her wealth. And yes, she has the nerve to ask suffering Americans to send their money to her. Well, I think the whole point is that means that this is not going to go to the people. It's not going to the people. It's not what she wants. She owns almost 2,000 acres on Maui. I think, honestly, what I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I think she wants to own the whole island. I think that's her goal, to own the entire island, to own the whole thing. Let Maui be Oprah land. I think that's what she's trying to do, and she wanted all the undesirables off that land, off that property. Of course, they're saying she hired police before. I mean, not police, firemen to protect her property before the fire started. Now, I don't have any proof of that. I don't know. But she made sure she was protected. Oh yeah, she could have hired private firefighters for the entire island. But see, that's not the point. The point was not to put out the fire. The point was to let it burn and wipe the whole slate clean. But anyway, then she's online crying about how she's being attacked and how she's being tortured, terrorized. Every nasty thing you can say about that woman, she actually deserves, in my opinion. And you know what they did? Their little IG posts where they talk about their fund, the People's Fund of Maui or whatever they're calling it. They cut off commenting, her and Mr. Rockhead. They cut off the commenting because they were getting too much heat and they can't stand the heat. Keep it going, people. Keep the heat on. We don't need people like that. Getting rid of the undesirables so they can own everything. But yeah, watching her whine about people being mean to her. She has spat on every conservative in this country. Literally spat on them. I've listened to some of the stuff she said, and she's a horrible, horrible person. You remember the old shows? You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Why don't she say, you get a check, and you get a check, and you get a check? No. See, that's not the point. That's not what she wants. She doesn't want to rebuild Lahaina for the people who lived there. She wants them gone permanently. And I'm not just saying her. I think other people also want that. Jeff Bezos has land there. You know that. Mark Zuckerberg has land there. But yeah, this is going to be Oprah Island, Oprah Land. That should float off into the ocean somewhere if that happens. But anyway, so enough about that woman. She's not a blip on my radar, not really. I just thought it was hysterical, her talking about people being mean to her. When she asked them for their money, and they said, take a long hike off a short pier, lady. I love that. Anyway, I can't really get back to my quilting. I've tried and tried. And so my channel I started, the Quilts and Chickens, I'm having trouble getting content. I have to make, I'm trying to decide what to make next. I've been just doing a lot of practicing, trying to get back into the swing of things. You know, I did some practice panels like this one with all these different, this is just practice really. But it turned out pretty well. And I thought if I could find a frame for that, it wouldn't be bad. And you know, I did a lot of these, you know, these panels where I pieced these things and did something different in every square. See that? I did that. I did another one. It's got different things on it. I don't really know what to do. I didn't make these so that they could be quilt as you go, where you quilt the blocks and then you piece them together. I didn't leave the edges where I could actually do that. It would lay properly. I haven't ever done quilt as you go. I'd like to do that. I'll let you learn how. But I've been doing that. And then I had some panels. And my eye was toward, and I don't know if I even talked about it on this channel, my goal was to make some quilted panels I could put in frames for wall art. Well, I still have, I guess I'll have to do a picture of it or something. I did it on my other channel. I did frame one because I had an extra frame here. It didn't have anything in it. It actually used to house the wedding picture of my son and his ex-wife, which I don't know where that went, but the frame was left over. So I put a quilted panel similar to these. I did, see these here? These will fit 8.5 by 11 frames. I especially love leaves. I like the leaves. 8.5 by 11, but I bought 3. It's hard to find that size frame, and frames are expensive. I'm going to have to really go to thrift shops. But I find it hard to go from thrift shop to thrift shop because I don't like to leave my property very much. So I try to buy it online, and you're just like, oh, this frame is only $50. It's like, are you kidding? You're Walmart. Why is this $50? This is insane. So I got 3 document frames, front loading, which means you flex the edges and the glass pops off and you put your thing in and put the glass in and the edges come back down. Well, even with this super flat bed, you see how flat this is? Super flat batting here. The front won't stay on those frames, or I would have framed all 3 of them already. But yeah, I think I like these actually. I think these are cool. And I love this fabric. A good place to buy fabric is Marshall's Dry Goods in Arkansas. You mail order. These fabrics, look how beautiful these fabrics are. They're just gorgeous. They have a lot of fabrics for under $5 a yard. I mean, and they're nice. So that's what I've been trying to get back to, is back to making a quilted thing. And I'm trying to figure out what to do. Because this is intensely quilted, it makes it flatter and stiffer. The more quilting on an area, the stiffer it becomes. And I thought, well, if I do a whole lap quilt with this, it's going to be really it's going to be very thin, and it's going to be very stiff. Now, my lap quilt that I did for my new couch is like that, and it's fine. But I don't know. I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. A nice table runner would be good. Just, you know, to put on a dining room table. Table runners are wonderful, and bed runners are nice too. But a table runner, you just put this, you know, like you have a rectangular dining table, and you put this. Say this is a little wider, and you know, 4 feet long or something like that, or 3 feet long, and you put the center table, and you can put a candle on it, you know, a candle dish and a candle in the middle of it, or a flower arrangement or something like that. And I think that's really nice. So while the world burns and Biden denies he did anything wrong in spite of incontrovertible evidence, I'm going to try to be distracted here. The chickens are okay. Mina had her seizure, but I don't know, ever since then she recovered and she has been perky. She's been very, I don't know what that is. She's been very perky. And I've thought. I've been monitoring the real estate market because, that was my only profession, really. I put my sons through college doing real estate. I didn't make a lot of money at it, but I did enough they got the Hope Scholarship from Georgia, and you could keep the Hope Scholarship if you keep up a grade average, and it paid for only tuition. But there's so many more expenses to college than just the tuition itself. And I didn't have college funds for my children because we weren't high income at any time in our lives, except for after they were in college. And so I worked as a realtor. Well, I keep an eye on real estate because I used to enjoy it until people got in the way. I don't see things coming down. I do see some properties that have been on the market a long time being reduced by $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I saw one reduced by $200,000. Those people really overshot, didn't they? They had delusions of grandeur. Well, a lot of people around here have delusions of grandeur still. But a nice home came up, and really nice home came up in the area my son lives in, actually very close to where he lives. And I went, oh my gosh, this is beautiful little house. And it was less than everything in my area. Everything in my area is over $400,000. Not with the acreage I have, I tell you that. And this was like $315, and it was on 2 acres, and it was absolutely stunning. Had a huge garage. It was perfection for an older couple. Flat on the ground, just beautiful lot. Everything was beautiful. And then all of a sudden it said so-and-so great school. And I went, wait a minute, this city's not in that county. Well, apparently a little bit of it is. And when it said what the taxes were on the house, I went, wow. It was like $2,800 for this year. They don't have, I don't know how old the owner is, but if they have exemptions and that kind of thing, but it was $2,800. I went, oh my God, that's a lot. Considering that my property taxes have gone up to about $500 a year. It doesn't include the other 2 lots. Those are individually paid, each separate from the other and separate from this property. But the total for those 2 lots is like $100 a year. Even now, the property taxes here, where we've been here for 21 years, they are quite affordable. They've gone up to like $520 a year, I think it is. Like, I'd have to look at it again. I can't remember. We paid that in cash because we don't have a mortgage and an escrow account and all that. So I'm looking at those taxes and I'm going, wait a minute, what are the tax rates? Because my son said his county was pretty expensive, he thought, and this next county adjoining it, which is more populated than his, is higher. And I went, oh, let me look at the rates. And I looked at the rates of his county, the county next to him where this house apparently is, even though it's the same city he lives in. And I looked at rates back where I used to live and where my other son does live now, still teaching school. And I looked at rates in the next county over from us and around. And apparently we have much lower taxes. For example, our tax rate's 0.38%. The tax rate, say where my friend lives over on another part, toward a lake, her property is 0.63%. So you're talking about taxes up in the 2, 3, and 4 thousands, like where my son lives, my other son. The rates on a $350,000, I just put in $355,000 house. There had a slide, that's where it landed, and I thought, well, okay, that's what I'm seeing most of the time here. Well, that and up to 400. And I put the slider, and I checked all these counties' rates and how much they actually translated to in dollars for a $355,000 house. My sons said it was going to be like $4,700 for a $355,000 house. Good God. That's a lot. And then it went down to 3,000, and the next, I mean, it went down. And then my county, it said $1,340. So even though the prices are higher here in my county than they are in, the prices are higher in my county for properties than they are in my son's county. My older son's, it's still Mountain County. His county, the taxes are so much lower that makes a huge difference, because I'm not ever going to have another mortgage. I'm not. If I can't sell this and buy something else with cash, or build something with cash from here, I'm not going to do it. I don't want a mortgage again. My whole life goal is to get rid of the mortgage, so that now I pay my property taxes and my property insurance out of my pocket. So I would prefer to have a $500 property tax bill, $6 if you count the other 2 lots, than a $3,000 property tax bill. That would be a very painful check to write. Very painful. So it depends on your area as to how the different houses are different prices. But the property tax, especially if you have a mortgage, I don't know. I mean, the escrow takes it out every month, so it just makes you have a big fat house payment if you have high property taxes. It just makes me have to write a big fat check if I had higher property taxes. Even though the houses in this area are about $50,000 average higher than they are where my older son lives, several counties away from me, hour and a half away from me. The property taxes are so much lower, it makes a humongous difference. I hope this makes any sense, but that was just what I was seeing as a former realtor around here. And of course, homeowners insurance has gone up too. Although my homeowners insurance went down by $200 last year. Down. As soon as I paid off my mortgage, my property tax dropped. My property insurance dropped. Now, I've had the same company for this whole time, and I went through a house fire, and they paid off when I had the house fire. So I've had the same company for 21 years. And I don't know if that makes a difference, but when I paid off my mortgage, and there wasn't not another payee for, if the house was burned to the ground, it was just me. All of a sudden, my property insurance dropped by $200 a year. That shocked the heck out of me. I did not expect that. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes if you do enough investigating, sometimes you'll find out that where you are is probably the best place to stay. If I went anywhere else, it'd be in my county, probably. Because I actually love my county. I actually love my location. I love this property. It doesn't love me sometimes. It doesn't love my husband for sure, who is now currently at pain management. The VA has set him up with finally found a pain management clinic that was near us. And they are starting something. They want to get new x-rays, new this, new that, look at all the records from all the doctors that ever x-rayed, MRI'd, and CAT scanned him. And so maybe they're going to try. He thought it was physical therapy. He said, this is not exactly physical therapy. This is pain management more than just physical therapy. So that's good. I mean, even though a lot of the pain management, we only recently have we found one around here. Most of them are our way, and they want you to be on drugs, which is their only way to deal with things sometimes. They want you to be on drugs. They want you to take these mind-altering drugs, ones that make you loopy and out of it. And then they want to, on an hour's notice, have you drive to the clinic for a blood test or something. And my husband said, no way I'm doing that. I'm not going to be impaired and get behind the wheel and drive to some pain clinic an hour away. I might not even make it back alive. So that's why he's never been to pain management. This one, I'm hoping is different. Please say a prayer for my husband's, because he's been having daily crashing headaches, and I think it has to do with his cervical area up here. Because his main problem, his back is at L4, L5, really down low. He had disc material removed from his spinal cord and wrapped around nerves when it exploded when he was on temporary duty in Texas one time. Came back in a wheelchair, had to have immediate surgery. I think that was in '94. But anyway, I mean, chronic pain ruins everything. It changes your entire life, and it changes the lives of those people around you. Like his very faithful and loving wife. And, some days it's just hard. And he can't help it. But then again, I have my days where, like this morning, I got up in my knee, which was right above where my left leg broke. My knee was very painful for some reason. It hasn't been painful. But see, I've run out of mega doses of turmeric again. That seems to really help my knees. I need to get some more turmeric. Or turmeric, however you want to pronounce it. The R's can be silent or not, I suppose. I say turmeric because there's an R there, so I say it. But you know what I'm talking about. So it really has done a lot of good for my knees, just the turmeric. And I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted to show you these little panels, if you hadn't seen them on my other channel. I think these as a pair, I like the teal and the purple together. I think these framed as a pair, if I could find 2 frames that would be good enough for this at thrift shop, because I'm not paying $50 each for a frame. I'm just not. And it's hard to find 8.5 by 11 frames. Next time, if I want to do this again, I'm going to make sure that I make it to a standard frame size, a very common frame size. Even a square frame size. Like if I could find a 15-inch square frame, I could frame these if I wanted to. But for now, they're practice, and I'm getting back in the swing of things. My Juki machine, I'm selling. I had a service guy look at it. He tweaked a couple of things and gave me a couple tips on how to handle it, because she's a really glitchy, I don't know, persnickety little machine, and has a nice throat space of like 8 inches. It's not bad. It does quilt like a dream. And I even got a custom table cut for it, but I think I'm gonna have to sell that one. I'm selling that one, and for a bargain and a half. And I'm not gonna ship it anywhere, but I don't have anything to ship at hand. But I'm gonna sell that one, and I'm just gonna keep my Janome 6500 that the repair guy sold me. It has a couple of things I don't like, but all in all, it's a really nice machine. I prefer Janome to Juki. Some people, they like Juki, but each to his own, So I'm gonna let you go. It's only been 22 minutes, and I just want to say that video yesterday, I almost didn't put it out because I thought this is all over the place, But you know what? It kind of represents how most of our brains are right now. They're all over the place with all the chaos in the world, and then they're going to try to lock you in your house and make you suffocate yourself and inject yourself with mystery juice. Not happening. As I said, second verse, same as the first. No mask, no vax for this girl. And that's how I maintain my health, and it works because I don't get sick. That's like a miracle. People think you're crazy, you don't get sick. I have sinus issues when there's a lot of pollen, or when, like now, there's pasture grasses, all the seed heads and the fluff and everything. I have postnasal drip from that kind of stuff, but I'm not sick. I haven't been sick in so many years. And it's because of the way I manage my health. And it's in the last 3 or 4 years, it's gotten even better since I've eliminated all the garbage. And, yeah. So, I'm going to get going. Y'all have a great day. And try to find something to occupy your mind. Because all this other stuff going on, you could just sit in a soup of desolation and just cry all day long about some of the things that are happening now, and how this country's turning into a socialist, communist country via socialist principles. Socialism always gives rise to dictators, and we're seeing a lot of that right now. But there's only so much you can control. You can only control your perimeter and what goes on in your family, and what food you put in your mouth and what food you don't put in your mouth. Now they're trying to even control that. Don't let them. If everybody stands up, just like they did against the New Mexico governor, there will be a freedom wave that will drown these power-hungry bureaucrats. Stand up for your Constitution. Stand up for your Bill of Rights. Stand up for your God-given rights, because the government doesn't give you rights. and they can't technically take them away. They can try, but you can't let them. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.